You ever see something so beautiful, like a sunset or a flower in full bloom, and you just get this little pang of sadness? You know that feeling that this perfect moment just can't last forever? It's a feeling we've all had, a question that kind of sits in the back of our minds. Why can't beautiful things just stay beautiful?
Well, that exact question is the opening line of an incredible poem from the East called The Reality of Beauty. And I mean, think about that for a second. The question is so big, so fundamental, the poet imagines beauty itself as a character going directly to God to ask it.
And the man who wrote this was the poet-philosopher Allama Iqbal. He took that universal feeling of sadness about fading beauty and just blew it up to this epic scale, a literal conversation between the creation and the creator. Okay, so let's get into what he has to say.
And God's answer in the poem is, well, it's mind-blowing. He basically says, you're misunderstanding the whole point of this world. He calls it a picture gallery, a place of fleeting images, not permanent statues. The fundamental rule of this place is change. In fact, he says the very definition of beauty in this world is that it's destined to fade. It's not a flaw, it's the feature.
Now, what's so cool is how Iqbal imagines this powerful truth getting out into the universe. It's not just a big announcement, it's treated like this cosmic secret, whispered from one celestial body to the next. The moon hears it first. It tells the morning star. The star then whispers it to the tiny dewdrop, which finally brings this massive heavenly truth all the way down to us here on Earth. And when that secret finally arrives, it causes this wave of what you could only call a beautiful sorrow. The poem describes it so vividly. The flower weeps, the bud's heart breaks before it can even open, and the whole season of spring just gets up and leaves the garden, completely heartbroken.
So you might be thinking, wow, that's a really deep philosophical idea, but was it just something being explored in one part of the world? Turns out, not at all. A very similar idea was actually echoing from the West.
Yup, all the way over in England, the famous poet John Keats was wrestling with this exact same thing. He wasn't imagining a conversation with God, but in his poem, To Autumn, he was looking at the world around him. The harvest, the ripening fruit, the end of the season, and finding this profound beauty right there in the process of change and decay.
So here's the crucial point. Both poets are looking at the same problem, but from slightly different angles. For Keats, the beauty is in the process of decay itself. He's celebrating the tangible, earthy richness of a season that's full and heavy because it's about to end. But for Iqbal, it's more spiritual. He sees all this fading worldly beauty as proof that it's just a temporary reflection, like a shadow of some perfect, eternal beauty that exists somewhere else.
And this is what's so incredible. You have these two giant thinkers from completely different cultures and backgrounds, and they both land on the same conclusion. For both of them, the engine, the very source of beauty in our world, is change. So what's the big takeaway from all this? Well, maybe we've been looking at it all wrong. The fact that beauty doesn't last isn't a tragic flaw. According to these poets, it's the very thing that makes it precious. It's the reason we stop and pay attention. The impermanence is what gives it all of its meaning.
Which kind of leaves us with one last question to think about. If it's true, if nothing beautiful can last forever, in this picture gallery of a world, does that fleeting nature make our experience of it not just more special, but maybe infinitely more meaningful?